Hey everyone, let's chat about what's happening in the Nevada real estate scene. If you've been following it, you probably noticed things are getting a bit wild. Just a year ago, prices seemed unstoppable, but now they're on the decline. Sellers are cutting their prices, buyers are stepping back, and in certain cities, property values are dropping quicker than we ever expected. It's that kind of situation that can turn what was supposed to be your dream home into a financial headache. I totally get how heavy this weighs on you. Maybe you jumped in thinking prices would only keep climbing, or you've been waiting, watching homes go up while your paycheck just stayed the same. Or perhaps you're just biding your time, hoping the market will make sense again. But here's the real deal. The correction isn't just coming, it's already here. In places like Reno, Pahrump, Mesquite, and beyond, we're seeing a free fall start to unfold. Yet amidst this chaos, there's a silver lining. For every seller feeling the pressure, there's a buyer getting a fresh chance. For every market that's pulling back, there's an opening to negotiate better and finally see home prices getting back to a more realistic level. So it's not just about collapse, it's also a reset. I've done some digging, pulled together the numbers, and checked the trends. I've lined up 10 Nevada cities where prices are taking a hit right now. Some are sinking quietly while others are making a big splash, but they all reveal the truth behind the headlines. I'd love to hear from you too. Drop a comment if you've noticed price drops in your area because I'm eager to know what's happening out there. And if you want updates without all the noise, make sure to subscribe. Now let's dive into Elko. It's usually considered one of the stable markets in Nevada with mining money flowing and families settled in for the long haul. But guess what? Even Elko isn't dodging the correction. Homes that were selling fast at around $290,000 are now hanging around the $250,000 mark with price cuts piling up. The inventory has doubled, and homes are sitting on the market longer than usual, over 60 days, which is new for many locals. In a town of about 20,500 people, you'd think a $215,000 budget could snag you a nice place with 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, a 2-car garage, and maybe a yard. But for sellers, things are changing quickly. Families that pushed to buy during the boom are now finding themselves in deep water, and cash-rich out-of-state buyers who once saw Elko as a steal are rethinking their options. It's got these stunning Ruby Mountains, which people often call Nevada's Alps, making it perfect for weekend getaways that won't put a dent in your wallet. Plus, there's a vibrant mining industry that keeps the paychecks coming. And don't forget about the unique events like the National Cowboy Poetry Gathering that add a fun character to the town. However, despite all those perks, prices are taking a hit when demand dips. You can really see the trade-offs here. Being in a remote area, enduring harsh winters, limited nightlife, and a job market that's lean unless you're in mining or logistics. During tough times, smaller towns like Elko feel the pinch first because buyers seem to vanish. But if you're a new buyer, Elko might feel like a steal right now. Share your thoughts below if you'd consider diving into a market that's cooling off for the chance to enjoy mountain sunsets and stable wages. Elko's tumble could be someone else's golden opportunity. Now, let's talk about Ely. It's always been one of those affordable spots in Nevada, with about 4,000 friendly faces living there. It thrives on its small-town charm and outdoor activities, making newcomers feel like they've hit the jackpot. But even Ely isn't immune to price drops. Over the past year, the median home price slid from almost $210,000 down to around $180,000. Homes that used to sell in just weeks are now sitting on the market for months. Sellers are finding themselves cutting prices like they never thought they would. On the surface, Ely still seems like a bargain. For about $180,000, you can snag a 3-bedroom ranch with a yard, typically on a quiet street where the neighbors smile and kids are biking around. Great Basin National Park is less than an hour away, bringing in unforgettable caves, trails, and unbeatable stargazing. The town has its own unique charm with a restored train depot, colorful vintage murals, and a downtown that oozes Americana. But here's the kicker. Demand is going down. Remote work had pulled in some buyers during the boom, but as the interest rates went up, that trend reversed. The job scene is mostly limited to public service, tourism, and local retail, and grocery options are pretty sparse. For anything beyond essentials, it's a long drive. During downturns, smaller remote markets like Ely tend to freeze up instead of just slowing down. For sellers, it's tough, but for buyers, it's a unique opportunity. It's one of those moments where a little patience now could mean building equity once the market bounces back. Let me know if you'd take the plunge on a shrinking market for the reward of clear skies and fantastic deals. In Ely, even the most budget-friendly towns can stumble. So let's talk about Winnemucca. This little town in Humboldt County, known for its paved streets, has around 8,400 residents. For a long time, it was a go-to spot for people priced out of Reno, offering a safe environment, good schools, and a more laid-back lifestyle. But recently, things have taken a downturn. The median home prices, which used to sit around $265,000, have dropped to about $235,000, and the number of homes for sale has really shot up. Sellers are cutting prices just to get people to look, and homes that used to fly off the market in days are now lingering for weeks. On paper, Winnemucca still seems appealing. For $235,000, you might snag a nice 3-bedroom, 2-bath house with a decent yard and a garage, not too far from schools or the regional hospital. Families like the safety aspect, and the local rodeos keep the calendar full while kids ride their bikes on the quiet streets. Plus, there are beautiful desert trails nearby for outdoor lovers. However, here's the kicker. It's pretty isolated. Reno is a 2-hour drive away, and Boise is 4. Most shopping and entertainment are quite a trek. While the job scene is steady with positions in mining, agriculture, and services, it's not growing quickly enough to attract new buyers. When mortgage rates rose, demand dried up almost instantly. Now sellers are realizing there aren't as many buyers out there, and homes are taking longer to sell. For investors, Winnemucca might seem risky, but for those patient buyers, it could be a bargain. If you're okay swapping convenience for savings, Winnemucca is showing that even small towns aren't safe from a market crash. Now let's shift gears to Fallon, often dubbed the Oasis of Nevada. Known for its green fields, irrigation ditches, and the popular Cantaloupe Festival every summer, it's been an affordable option for families just an hour from Reno. But that situation is changing quickly. Over the last year, the median home price in Fallon has dropped from around $275,000 to about $220,000. The slowdown is noticeable everywhere you look. Homes that used to sell in a matter of weeks are now taking over 90 days, and it's common to see multiple price reductions. With about 9,500 residents, Fallon still appears attractive at first glance. For $240,000, you could find a 3-bedroom ranch, sometimes even with a small irrigated lot for gardening or hobbies. The Navy base provides jobs, schools are solid, and there's a strong community feel that families appreciate. But the cracks are starting to show. The trade-offs become harder to manage during a downturn. Dining choices are limited, and nightlife, well, it's just not happening. Let's talk about some interesting changes happening in Nevada's housing market. For example, when it comes to Friday night football games and jobs, places outside the base depend a lot on services and agriculture, which aren't doing so hot during economic slowdowns. With fewer folks willing to drive from Reno, home prices are definitely taking a hit. Sellers who were hoping to cash out with a decent profit are having to lower their expectations, while buyers are finding a golden opportunity. What would you choose? A quieter small town and a cheaper mortgage, or the chaos of Reno? Well, Fallon's dip in prices might just be the break buyers have been waiting for. Now let's chat about Fernley. This city has been one of the fastest growing spots in Nevada, thanks to Reno's expansion and the boom brought on by the Tesla Gigafactory. With around 24,000 people living there, Fernley became the go-to place for families priced out of Sparks and Reno, and builders just couldn't keep up with the demand. But now the winds are changing. In just a year, median home prices have plummeted from about $355,000 to around $300,000, with some new homes even selling for less than what they were bought for. Fernley still has a lot to offer, like neighborhoods with sidewalks, good schools, chain grocery stores, and jobs in logistics and light manufacturing. Plus, it's just a 40-minute drive to Reno, which is pretty convenient for workers. Families enjoy the suburban vibe without the craziness of Reno's traffic. But here's the kicker. Rising interest rates have shown just how shaky the boom really was. Builders are throwing out incentives, Price cuts are stacking up, and homes that used to spark bidding wars are now sitting empty. With the growth came more traffic, higher insurance prices, and HOA fees that can eat into budgets. As demand cools in Reno, Fernley is feeling the impact even more. Commuter towns usually feel these corrections first, and it's tough for sellers to see their equity disappear so quickly. But for buyers, there's finally some leverage. Would you jump into a market that's growing while prices are dropping? Fernley is proof that even boom towns can turn into clearance racks overnight. Now, let's switch gears to Mesquite, located by the Arizona border. This town has always been popular with retirees, boasting around 21,000 residents. It used to be the affordable golf course alternative to expensive Las Vegas, attracting snowbirds and out-of-state buyers looking for stucco homes with desert landscaping and community pools. But the tables have turned in the past year, with median prices dropping from nearly $365,000 to about $320,000. You know, many homes in those active adult communities have been sitting unsold for months now. There's still a lot to love about the area: great year-round golf, mild winters, and casinos that bring in plenty of tourists. Families appreciate the decent schools and sports programs, while retirees enjoy the peaceful suburban life they sought out. However, the signs of trouble are apparent. Interest from California buyers has slowed down, and investors who used to see Mesquite as a rental opportunity have backed off. Now, there are so many listings that homes that would have sparked bidding wars just 2 years ago are now struggling to sell. In a downturn, the trade-offs hit harder here. Job opportunities are limited, mainly in hospitality, healthcare, and retail. When those sectors slow down, housing demand drops too. Sure, you can find basic grocery and dining options, but don't expect any high-end shopping or nightlife outside of the casino scene. The town relies heavily on retirees and seasonal buyers, so when confidence dips, home prices tend to fall quickly. That's tough for sellers, but good news for buyers who have more negotiating power. What do you think? Would you jump on a retirement town while it's on the decline, or wait it out for even lower prices? Mesquite shows what happens when a hot market faces some turbulence. Now, let's talk about Pahrump. For years, it was marketed as Vegas without the hefty price tag. With around 45,000 folks living there, it was the spot for buyers seeking space, zoning flexibility, and just an hour's drive to all the action in Las Vegas. You could have chickens, park your RV, or set up a workshop without those pesky HOA rules. But now, that rapid growth is starting to show its cracks. The median home price has dropped from $325,000 to $275,000 in just a year, and there's a massive influx of homes on the market. On the surface, Pahrump still seems attractive. For $275,000, you can snag a 3-bedroom home, often with a quarter-acre or larger lot. Families have plenty of space for kids and pets, and hobbyists can turn their garages into side businesses. Retirees get to escape the Vegas traffic while still being close enough for medical appointments or shopping trips. Plus, the local wineries, casinos, and mountain views are nice perks. But when things go south, towns like Pahrump feel the effect first. With rising gas prices, commuting to Vegas becomes less appealing. The infrastructure can't keep up with the growth, leaving schools overwhelmed. Investors who were snapping up homes to rent them out are now pulling back, leading to unexpected price cuts for sellers. Hey there! So, I wanted to share some interesting news about the housing market in Nevada. You know, for those who've been patient and waiting, there's a bit of a silver lining. Prices are taking a dive in some areas, especially in places like Pahrump and Tonopah, creating opportunities that weren't around during the crazy rush we saw earlier. Let's talk about Tonopah first. This little town is pretty remote, with only about 2,300 folks living there. It used to be a hidden gem for people priced out of bigger cities like Reno or Vegas, offering quirky and affordable homes. Just a year ago, houses were selling for around $195,000, but now they're struggling to even touch $160,000. Some of them have been on the market for half a year without a single bite. The town's got its charm, though, with the historic Mispa Hotel that's famous for its ghost stories and the Central Nevada Museum keeping the mining history alive. Plus, it's a stargazing hotspot because the skies are so clear. But it's not all sunshine. Life in Tonopah has its challenges. Jobs are mainly in government, tourism, and what's left of the mining sector, Grocery options are basic, healthcare is limited, and you'll be driving for hours to get to big stores. When buyer confidence drops, demand can just vanish, which is why prices there are falling even faster than in other parts of the state. It's tough for sellers. Equity can evaporate quickly in such small towns. However, for buyers who value space and charm over convenience, this could be a rare chance to snag some land at lower prices. Now, let's move on to Hawthorne. This quiet, low-cost town sits right by Walker Lake and has about 3,000 residents. It used to be a refuge with cheap homes and lots of space, but it's not escaping the market correction either. In just a year, the median home price has dropped from around $125,000 to about $150,000. Even with some deep price cuts, sellers are having a hard time moving their listings quickly. The town is known for its military depot, which is the biggest employer around, and people love the outdoor activities at Walker Lake for boating. It's truly a mixed bag out there for buyers and sellers alike. All right, let's chat about some interesting places in Nevada where home prices are really taking a dive. First up is Hawthorne. This little town is known for its fishing, camping, and overall peaceful vibe. Families appreciate the safety and quiet, while retirees love how affordable it is. Even those remote workers used to see it as a great place to live cheaply and have some space. You could still find a cozy ranch with a yard and mountain views for around $160,000. But there's a catch. The job market is pretty slim outside of the depot, and services are limited. When it comes to healthcare, retail, and dining, you're not getting much variety. Big box stores are a drive away, so during tough times, fewer buyers are willing to make those sacrifices. As confidence dips, Hawthorne is really showing what that looks like. Sellers might feel upset, but it's a great time for buyers to negotiate. In this kind of market, you could end up with lower costs that beat renting in bigger cities, and a little patience could turn what feels like a free fall into future equity. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Would you prefer a peaceful and affordable home over the hustle of convenience? Now, let's talk about Boulder City. It's a unique spot that's just about 30 miles from Las Vegas and has casinos banned, making it a little different from other towns in Nevada. With around 16,000 residents, it's known as a family-friendly alternative to the Vegas Strip. For a long time, Boulder City stood strong while other markets got hot. But now, even it's facing some challenges. In the last year, the median home price dropped from around $430,000 to $250,000, and homes that used to fly off the market are now sitting for months. Even though $250,000 can still get you a decent 3 or 4 bedroom home with a yard and good access to schools, you can feel the changes. The town is charming, with its historic downtown full of local shops and community festivals. Families enjoy the slow pace, while retirees like the stability and nearby attractions like the Hoover Dam and Lake Mead. But trouble is brewing. Rising interest rates are making it hard for people wanting to upgrade. Now, folks relocating from other areas who once thought of Boulder City as an affordable suburb are getting worried because of the falling home values. Sellers are starting to cut their prices frequently, and buyers are definitely in the driver's seat at this point. For a town that used to pride itself on steady home values, things are definitely shifting. Prices in 10 cities across Nevada are really taking a dive. It's quite a shakeup, and it's hitting hard. You might be paying more in some of the bigger cities than in the smaller ones, but you're still facing the same issues like rising insurance costs, a slowdown in demand, and stricter lending rules. It's interesting to see even places like Boulder City feeling the pinch, showing just how significant this correction really is. For buyers, though, this is a golden opportunity. Boulder City is a gem right now, offering a chance to join a solid, respected community for a price that's much better than what it was just a year ago. Do you think it's worth paying a little extra for a peaceful spot without casinos? Because Boulder City is showing that even the most stable markets aren't immune to downturns. The situation is tough across the board. From small towns like Tonopah and Hawthorne to larger spots like Fernley and Pahrump, sellers are feeling frustrated as equity slips away. It's surprising how quickly decades of stability can unravel. But here's the silver lining. While this might be a tough time for sellers, it opens doors for buyers. Remember, markets go through cycles. They don't fall forever. They reset. If you've been waiting for the right moment, this might finally be your chance to grab a deal that makes sense. I'd love to hear from you if you've noticed similar drops in your area. Let me know where you're feeling the price plunge most. And if you want to stay updated with straightforward insights about this chaotic market and discover where the hidden opportunities are, make sure to subscribe. Nevada's housing market is shifting quickly, and the big question is, will you jump in or sit on the sidelines while this reset is happening?